Will, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What do you get if you mix lettuce, croutons, and an epileptic?
Krotons?
No.
I don't know.
Seizure salad.
Ah, right. Okay.
Is this the first time you've heard one of my jokes?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here. when we're doing a reaction video, I always have a joke, and it's always terrible.
Oh, you always kick it. You always kick it off with like a stupid pun or something.
Yeah, I was
like
hoping
the
you'd laugh,
wordplay thing.
but you didn't. Although, to be
Okay.
fair, most of the time, no one laughs. Anyway, hello and welcome to a video in the Worst of Classic Who series. We haven't done this in over a year since we did The Power of Kroll with Adam. Since then, Adam has become quite a busy man and he has not got enough time to do these videos. I decided, in conjunction with my marathon of all of Doctor Who that I'm doing on Twitter, I thought that as I go through them, I would check stories off the Worst of Classic Who list as I go through it, and I thought I would bring on some guests for each one. It should be very interesting. So we are starting today with the Krotons, and we have Will Maddox here for it.
I greet all of y'all, and I have a webcam now, so you can see my cursed nature as we commentate on this story.
Yes, of course.
And you could... Oh,
What were you going to say?
you could also see all my weird, gross... I was going to say, you could also see all my weird habits, like how I have some Pepsi with me, and I'm drinking with a straw because I'm precious. Oh, no.
God, I'll never forget Dylan's rant yesterday on that. That was funny.
Oh god, yeah.
But yes, we are watching the Krotons. Just beware, spoilers. Not only for Classic Who, but probably for New Who as well, because during these reactions I found that me and Adam would always talk about shit. So if you haven't seen Classic Who and you haven't seen New Who, just be aware, there could be spoilers. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to, prevent myself from talking about, like, the caretaker if I want to. Like, if you... I don't know why I want to talk about the caretaker, but... but I will. I will if I want to, so just beware. Also, remember to leave a comment. We also do a thing at the end of these videos, if you haven't seen them before, where we have to defend a New Who story against Hellbent. So if you want to make a suggestion for us to do, then leave a comment in the description telling us what story you want to see us defend against Hellbent, and give a paragraph as to why you think it's worse than Hellbent. We used to do leave a comment for adding, a Classic Who story to the list that we have on screen here, but I have finally decided to finalize this list. So basically, all we have left to do, what we've already done so far, if anyone hasn't seen the series before, is we've done The Leisure Hive, Arc Infinity, Colony in Space, Warriors of the Deep, The Dominators, Nightmare of Eden, The Creature from the Pit, The Invasion of Time, and The Power of Kroll. And what we have remaining is the Krotons, the Space Pirates, the Mutants, the Time Monster, Death to the Daleks, Monster Repellent, Underworld, Armageddon Factor, Destiny of the Daleks, Horns of Diamond, Meglos, Fort of Doomsday, Time Flight, Terminus, The King's Demons, The Awakening, Planet of Fire, Twin Dilemmas, Time Lash, Time in the Rani, Paradise Towers, Dragonfire, Silver Nemesis, and then the grand finale of this series, once all that's done, is going to be Dimensions in Time.
Jesus, that's a lot.
Yeah. So
And I'm number 10 in this series, aren't I?
I think so.
Have you seen... Ooh, yay.
Yeah, I think you
It's
are.
not really anything significant, but
Yeah.
Yay.
And looking at that list, I just realized how many bloody stories I still have. That's a lot. It's a lot of stories.
Well, I'm honoured to be here for our Lord and Saviour Patrick Troughton.
Yes, of
Like
course.
one of his installments.
Yes.
Not one of his best, but it's still a good one. People are too hard on it, but you'll find that out for yourself.
Yes, well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this is the first one written by Robert Holmes, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But
You've never seen this before? I've seen it like 5, 6, 7 times. I don't really know.
wow, I mean, there's not many Doctor Who stories I've seen that many times. Like I've only seen like Human Nature, Family Blood like probably 4 or 5 times in my life. So yeah,
Jesus.
you've rewatched this show quite a few times, haven't you?
Oh yeah, like I've been endlessly rewatching stuff like Tomb of the Cybermen ever since like I was like 7 or 8, or however old I was. I can't remember when I first got into Doctor Who. But you know,
Yes.
But yeah, we shall begin when you are ready. Of course,
Of
it is your
course.
channel.
Well,
You are in command.
Well, is there anything else you want to discuss before we get into the Krotons?
All I'll say is that I think this is lower tier among the Troughton era.
Out of the ones we've done so far, me and Adam's favourites were Colony in Space and The Creature from the Pit, which we actually quite liked. But then, pretty much all of the other ones... Oh, actually, no, to be fair, Nightmare of Eden was alright. And, like... But Power of Kroll wasn't terrible. It was just, like, very, like, 5 out of 10-ish. But the rest of them... The rest of them, especially Warriors of the Deep and the Invasion of Time. Oh boy.
They are crap, yeah.
Yeah, I think actually, and also in the reaction, we also felt that way about the Dominators, but I actually rewatched that in this marathon and I didn't dislike it as much as I did before.
Yeah, it's grown on me too.
Yeah, like it's still like cardboard, but you know, it was.
This isn't quite on the same level. It's like, it's like between that. It's like between Dominators and like actually good Troughton stories.
Good Troughton stories like the Ice Warriors, eh, Matt?
Yeah, the Ice Warriors is good.
Very
Damn
good.
it, Matt.
Yes. But yeah, I have my DVD here, and I also, I'll pull it out of its slipcase of the faceless ones that I put it in. I have 2 Krotons DVDs, funnily enough. One of them is the Australian version, one of them's the British version. And this just purely happens. This just purely happens by accident when I was collecting all my DVDs in 2017. I was like binge buying them. I accidentally ordered 2 of the Krotons. Didn't realize why, but it's kind of the thing is I'm kind of glad that I did because one of them is broken at the top, like the whole case is like ripped.
Going off on a tangent, but I've actually ordered like some Second Doctor Lost stories. Like I'm showing them on my webcam right now. Like I just got these recently, and they fall in the same time frame as season 6. So like Lords of the Red Planet and Prison in Space and stuff. And
wait, isn't this like season 6B, or am I wrong?
Oh no, it's like the lost stories from season 6, like the stories they would have had in season 6, but then they like replaced them.
One that what's the Jamie one?
The Lead of McCrimmon. That was never adapted to audio, but like that is a lost story. Okay. In a sense.
The Lead of McCrimmon.
They should adapt it to audio. I imagine it'd be really great, but you know.
Lead of McCrimmon.
The Lead of McCrimmon would have been
again,
delicious.
I'm glad that they sacrificed that so we could have the War Games.
Yeah, War Games is beautiful.
War Games is my favourite story of all time. It's
up there for me too.
I like it more than everything in the Russell era. Like that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. Yeah.
I miss this title sequence.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Hello, Jamie. Oh yeah, the quotation marks, the Krotons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're at school, are we? Hello there.
No! No!
I love mediocre acting. It's so much fun.
I know. And like the tiny 60s camera, which means they have to be like 3 inches away from each other's faces. Yeah. Like, it's beautiful.
Oh, is this the one where he has the umbrella?
It is, yeah.
Yes, I've been wanting to see this. That's actually a really scary TARDIS sound.
I know, I wish they used it more. Like, they use that one from Spearhead quite a lot, where it's just breaking down.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Sulfur?
Do you? Well, let's explore, shall we? Your umbrella. Yes, twin suns. It's bound to be hot.
No, it's Tatooine.
It's a mixture of ozone and sulfur. Very bracing.
I love him.
There's a city in New Zealand that smells like this. and I was there on holiday a month ago.
How many volcanoes does it have?
I don't know, but it has lots of geysers and like
okay.
hot springs.
What's that? Fascinating structures. Magnesium silicate.
I thought it was like collectible cards.
Oh look, there's blocks of cheese.
Fascinating.
Oh wait, that's meant to be the city.
Yeah.
I thought they found like a pile of like things that you put on a wall to hang a mirror on.
Bless model shots.
Is this the
Bless 'em.
is this the volcano outside my house? This is where I fell over and got the scar on my arm.
Oh damn.
That's a very satisfying door. JB's wearing a tie.
Yeah.
I think we better get away from here. What? Come along.
I think season 6 is Troughton's gayest season.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Is it-
Something mildly worrying. It's time we leave.
I've seen that gif.
Oh yeah. Who doesn't want to force Fraser Hines' head down? To
Man,
be
this is Bob Holmes' debut. What a masterpiece.
a thing.
This is the man who wrote The Caves of Androzani.
She's not going
Looks like
into
Jack
that machine.
Nicholson.
She has to go.
It's Philip Maddock, I think.
Oh shit! It's the warlord. Oh, it's
Oh my word.
now it's Diagon. You'd know all about Diagon, wouldn't you, Maddox?
Oh yeah.
We are friends. It's all right. Now don't be afraid. One of your people has been restrained.
God, he's really gay in this story.
Oh my word. Oh.
He sounds like his buttocks is clenched.
Need to keep remembering to dab when they say the Krotons.
I can see why Russell T Davies loves this story now.
Yeah. Everyone's just fucking homo.
Thank you.
Oh, Jamie, watch out!
Time for some gay wrestling with Fraser Hines. Jimmy!
This really is like just the gay Aztecs. They got sacrifices and they got like wrestling.
Yes, I'm used to shoving things in holes.
Oh, here we go, that one.
Walk into the club like...
Oh my word.
That was one effective rock.
Oh, this is very gay. Well, this is gay.
Yeah, this is gay, yeah.
My favorite umbrella. She does
Don't worry, you'll get a new one with a question mark. Oh yeah, we see Troughton in shirt sleeves and it's so sexy.
Oh. Ah. Dr. Wood in the wardrobe.
That's an insulting comparison. I'm kidding.
Okay. Apparently this is quite a bit like Mysterious Planet, which is interesting because that's also written by Robert Holmes. I mean, that shack definitely looks like the place that Sablon Glitz was in.
Yeah, I can see the comparison actually, yeah. Because there are like weird, crappy robot invaders.
What do you want?
Oh,
This is lovely cliche stuff.
You're their second, aren't you? You work
more gay sexual tension.
custodian of the learning hall.
And his 70s porn stash, Jesus.
This is preparing for the 70s. Just like how the Doctor bonking Queen Bess is preparing for the 2010s.
Oh God.
Wow.
Wow.
That aired on the 25th of December and children were watching.
I'm no longer dabbing when they say the Krotons.
That's
fucking
every
tiring.
10 seconds.
Smash them! Smash them!
Oh.
This is some horribly ineffective axes.
That's what I'm here for. Do you know what Tara's planning?
Oh, look at those
He and
sideburns.
We've been in it twice today and we're alright.
Why? It doesn't affect us gays, Doctor.
I just watched The Invasion last night, and in part 8 he's like, "Oh, oh, oh."
Oh God, that guy's in bondage. The story really is gay.
Yeah. Whoa, this sounds like the Emperor Dalek from Parting of the Ways. God, Russell does love this story.
This is your final warning.
Oh, it's coming out.
Oh, here we go. It's the phallus.
Oh, that's a Punisher right there.
Why does Erato get all
looks
the
like,
love when there's this thing?
It looks like something out of The Incredibles. Or it looks like the thing from Jabba's palace.
Doctor, it's after you.
Oh no.
I have been selected. Oh.
Please no, I'm a top. Please no. Please let me lube up first. No.
Oh. Well, that was probably the gayest episode I've ever seen. Aside from Tooth and Claw.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. I really enjoyed
Zoe's
that.
credited really far down.
Now I don't I don't know if I could I don't know if I could say that was like a really good episode, but I definitely enjoyed it.
It's the most viewed Troughton episode of his era. Like, it got the highest viewing figures.
What?
I know.
I mean, maybe because it came right after the invasion.
Probably.
It's just like how like the
Um,
rescue got a lot of views because it was after the Dalek invasion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was I really enjoyed that. It was fun.
We're on to part 2 next.
Yep.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, like the plot so far, yeah, it's there's a couple of things that have been set up. Like, we've heard about these Krotons and how they rule the society. And there's a subservient slavery thing going on. And yeah. And what else was there? There's like acid rain.
Rebellion.
And there's a rebellion, and there's lots of
Yeah. They're a subservient civilization to their robotic slavers, but they're starting to rebel, and then the Doctor's like, oh, and then that's it so far.
But then it's all like sprinkled with all this like camp. Like
My favorite umbrella.
it's just oh yeah. Well, I can't imagine Troughton from like Power of the Daleks being like this at all. In Power of the Daleks he's really like, yes, Ben, these Daleks are, well, they're very powerful. And now he's just like, oh, my umbrella. He's developed his sexuality.
We love it. We absolutely love it.
Like I thought he was pretty camp in the Dominators, but this is on another level. Oh dear.
This is have you seen The Seeds of Death?
Yes, I have.
Okay, aside from like that chase scene in The Seeds of Death when he's running away from the Ice Warriors, I think this is the campest Trouton's ever been.
He's got those thick old sideburns and the Seeds of Death.
Oh hell yeah. Juicy stuff.
Yes. Okay, I'm ready for part 2. Oh no!
When Mrs. Trouton wants to be on top.
This is when the second family came in. This is the one that spawned Dudley Dursley from Harry Potter.
It really is like a penis.
He's playing peekaboo with a penis.
Second Doctor seems to have a big dislike of computers in this season.
Yeah, he does.
Like, oh, stupid machine! This is a warning.
Murders!
Always loved the Doctor's bedside manners.
Jamie, hold out your hand, will you? What for? These pills I got.
Hold
from
my
Peter.
cum flannel.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Swallow these, Jamie.
These are poppers, Jamie.
Some good Viagra, Jamie. So this story aims more of a focus on the Dr. Zoe relationship rather than the Dr. Jamie one. So that's cool. It's good to change things up every now and then.
Yeah, he's feeling a bit nervous around Jamie because it's the gay story, so he wants to hang out with his girlfriend.
It's too gay this time around. We have to tone shit down.
Yeah. No, he's with Zoe. He's like, yes, let's talk about boys.
So, do you think I should ask Jamie out? I need advice there.
Well,
Those are some
she's very
sick
excited.
headphones.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's Beats by Dre.
Beats by Tristram Carey.
Oh, yeah.
Beats by Dudley Simpson. Ooh, what's this? Oh, she's so excited. She's learning maths. Oh, that's the sound from Oh, what's that song? What's that story? That sounds from a story that like Polly's in, I think.
War Machines? It's a very similar sound.
Maybe.
Like the ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo.
This is like that scene in School Reunion where the kids are looking at the computers.
Oh god, yes, so it is.
Whatever else they are, these Krotons are certainly not friendly.
They're very evil, Zoe. Evil, evil, evil.
Zoe is something of a genius, of course. It can be very irritating at times. Varna, you're all right now. You're safe.
Oh, Fraser loves the ladies.
Hell yeah.
I've been watching all the DVD extras of all his stories, and every single time it's like, oh, sweet, there was a lovely woman on this one. Like, there's one in The Invasion, there's one in The Dominators, there's one in The Web of Fear.
Whenever I see like a female adult extra in the Trouton era, I just think Trouton fucked her good. And probably Fraser Hines did too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and when he was talking at the moon base, he's like,
Debbie Watling.
you know, it was good have the beautiful Annika Wills looking after me while I'm lying in my bed.
And Debbie Watling and Wendy Padbury just roll their eyes as the boys are at it again.
Hey, Varna, not Varna. Let's take these here.
Here, let me roofie you.
Now do you see what you've done? Fooling around with this stupid machine.
But I'm not a doll.
But the machine doesn't know that.
I don't know how to describe it. Like, cute outrage.
Doctor, you've got it all wrong.
Oh dear, I've been working in square roots.
I just imagine Romana 1 being here. Being like, oh, it's because you failed
Oh
your
yeah.
tests.
There's the...
I think that's rather better. I think scored more than you have, Zoe.
You answered more questions. Besides, isn't it supposed to be a competition? Yes. Perhaps the
Oh, that
Krotons
smile.
aren't as bad as we think.
It's so lovely.
What? Of course they aren't. My people will always remember you. Hey. Oh, that's very nice of them.
That was almost like a Tom Bakerish moment. What? You remember me? Oh, of course. Yes, wonderful.
It does.
Oh, I love those chairs.
We have, Zoe. We help to equalize the power load.
Well, what are they going to do?
You're my keyring now, Zoe.
What? Oh my god.
This is like sex.
Oh. This is very sexual.
And it ends with an explosion as well.
Transferring mental power to pure energy.
Yes.
God, this is like the long game as well. God, Russell really does love this story.
But what's its purpose?
Life is supposed to have
Jamie's-
begun on your planet in the sea.
Jamie's cum is thicker than this.
You suppose
We're,
these are?
She...
They look like astronauts.
Oh my
don't they?
God.
All right, Zoe. Zoe!
Oh, here we go.
Ah, the Krotons. Oh no, Jamie's been pinched. No, Jamie! My boy.
Well. So... hang on, so they... oh, fuck. It's weird, not much actually happened, but I still enjoyed it. We got the bit with Troughton and Zoe with the computer, that was great.
Oh yeah.
And then we got the bit where they went into the the cum room.
They had trippy orgasms.
Yeah, and we actually
then
met
Jamie,
the Krotons.
who loudly declared their plan.
There's not enough like inflection in their voices. They're so flat.
Hello, we are the Krotons.
Yeah. And Jamie opened the door with a crowbar. Yeah. That's all that
Yeah.
really happened.
We had some great Dr. Zoe banter.
Yeah.
Because you know, we when we think of like the Troughton era and like Troughton era comedy, we mostly think of like Troughton and Hines slapstick, but I think like Troughton and Wendy Padbury had some great comedy a great comedy dynamic as
Yeah.
well. So
It's crazy, we're already halfway through the story. Like, this is flying by.
I know. Two and Zoe going for a nice stroll.
No, the way to the TARDIS.
I once tweeted, I want the Krotons to verbally abuse me in their Brummy accents.
There's so much weird visuals going on here.
Oh yeah, they've got like a hypnosis screen just there. Oh, he's making some drugs. Except for Philip Maddock.
Krotons.
Oh, the Krotons.
You're both out of your minds. You listen to me.
Oh.
Oh, the sexual tension is killing me. Jamie's so hot. I mean, what?
Oh, has he got like his extra like weapon or something?
Yeah, it's this shot. Look at it. It has a dress.
Oh wow, this is first person shooter right here.
Hell yeah, we need this as a video game.
Yeah, Call of Duty Krotons. You have been dropped down and you've been given this extra weapon. I'll take it.
What? The Krotons sent for Zoe.
What?
Oh yeah, that 60s we need to fight mentality is in this story, isn't it?
Post World War II
It's there,
mentality.
yeah. It's there in
Unified,
the Daleks.
like
It was
a
really
unified force against like the oppressors.
Yeah, like no time for talking. We need action.
Yeah.
It's especially there in the Dominators. Jesus Christ.
Well, the fucking what are they called? The Dulcins, is it? And
Yeah,
they're like, no,
the
we're not
Dulcians.
gonna do anything. And Trout's like, you must do something.
People, Eirich is a patriot. It is not patriotism to lead people into a war they cannot win. We can't let the Krotons rule us forever without putting up some sort of fight. We will be strong one day.
I like
Yeah,
these themes.
that- My themes.
I like it when people criticize patriotism.
Oh, agreed. Yeah. Patriotism is bullshit. Except if it's for New Zealand, because New Zealand seems lovely.
Oh
Take me
yeah,
there.
well, I mean, we just do everything right. although that's probably patriotism. Because there are some Americans I think they do everything right, and I'm like, oh, are you sure about that?
Oh, I could take that up my ass. I'm so cursed.
I love this point of view of Charlotte. This brings me back.
Control us with the Y button. I don't know. Use the C stick to turn us around.
It's fascinating, isn't it, Zoe?
Oh my god, he's got a handbag.
Must have been a polarized centrifuge.
Which we activated.
We're going for a picnic, Zoe.
This is so gay. Yes, I've got a handbag, and I've got a flannel, and a bottle of cum.
We're watching Wendy Padbury. Very interesting.
The Krotons are a metaphor for the dads.
8 is 128, and its atomic number is 50.
You see, Doctor.
Oh, yes, yes.
Let me pick up my handbag.
This was meant for the sausages.
Stop. Oh no, Jamie's. Ah, Doctor, help! Ah.
Did they just like ram him up against the wall?
Oh, this is where the Cold War reference comes from.
Oh yeah.
This is what Cold War is referencing.
What a stupid place to land. You can tell that the captain is not at the helm, can't you?
You fucking...
If the TARDIS is attacked, it automatically dematerializes. Now, I think it's safe for us to move now.
I only ever use it once again, ever.
I'm pretty sure it
Because
does
it's
it in
fucking inconvenient.
I'm pretty sure it does it in Parting of the Ways as well. Oh fuck, Russell stole everything from this story.
Imagine the Krotons reading you a bedtime story. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs.
But we thought you were dead.
Dead.
We went for another gay picnic. Ah.
Well, what goes in must come out, mustn't it?
Just like Jamie's cum. What? Sorry.
No, the Doctor is asexual.
Oh, he is. Until I decide he's fucking Jamie. Oh yes, I totally believe they are using force with those hammers.
I love it when they acknowledge passage of time in the show. It just makes it feel like they've actually been on an adventure, you know?
Yeah. Like, Kinder takes place over the space of, like, 2 days.
Power of Troll,
And at one
like,
point the Doctor...
Power of Troll, they stay overnight and they wake to the morning.
Yeah. It's always cool.
And I think the Shakespeare is really good at doing that too. Like, they stay overnight.
Oh, yeah. See, the Krotons would look so much better if their heads were just constantly spinning. They don't look as cheap.
Oh no!
Oh. It's a Doctor Look Out cliffhanger.
Oh.
I got twatted by rocks.
Oh no.
That was the second Doctor, everyone. Now to John Poe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part was a part. The Doctor gets a handbag.
Yeah.
Jamie gets pinched.
Gets pushed up against a wall. It's like he got, because I said the Krotons are like a metaphor for the dads. It's like he got like a father-son beating where like he doesn't get like injured or killed. He just gets like knocked out a bit. The TARDIS dematerializes and yeah, fun times for all. I have to say, like, the plot's not very the plot's not very like developed, is it?
The plot's very... No, it's very... It's very simplistic, like, oh no, evil things.
Yeah, and it's just like, we are going to have a rebellion. Yeah, I mean, although there was that little bit about
fight for our rights.
there was that little dispute between Philip Maddox's character and whoever the other one was about like patriotism and all that. That was cool.
Yeah. While the Doctor and Zoe are just busy, just having a gay picnic. Jamie was in that room for the whole episode. Jesus.
Yeah.
Tenant hair ready.
Oh yeah, I also
He's good.
should have mentioned we also had the Krotons first-person shooter game as well.
Oh god, yeah. So we did. Hell yeah.
Yes. All right. Wow, we're on to part 4.
God.
I'm still there's
Already.
not a single boring moment so far. I've been enjoying this completely.
The man who never would.
Oh
No, a polystyrene rock.
It's right on his penis. My favourite part has been ruined. Oh, look at that wall.
It's on cum in these pipes, Doctor.
Oh, this is like the witch's familiar.
Oh god, ugh.
Ugh.
Oh, this.
Oh,
We're fucking tripping. That LSD is dank, bruv.
I don't know why, but for some reason I can imagine like you could make a cheese toasted sandwich on a Kroton.
Could be a fracture.
Feels painful enough.
I'll stop it.
Penis fracture.
Hurry up.
Zoe says, give me the wood. I'm gonna post that to Twitter, actually. Give me the wood.
Oh, she's holding him. She held this suspender. And he was like, oh. Oh, it's creeping.
Oh, yeah, the honeycomb ball thing is bleeding.
Right. Off uric acid.
Yes, basically, with a few things added. Don't touch it, it'll turn.
With a few things added.
I'd forgotten all about him in the excitement.
I forgot about Jamie in the excitement.
Philip Maddox.
The love child of me and the Watcher is Bay. Oh god, they're 2 inches apart from each other. Oh no, they're in a dress. I just love that like the robotic part, it looks a bit naff, but you know, it's fine. And then they just give up halfway down, it's just a dress. Oh, I like putting things in holes, Doctor.
That sounded more like your Karen Gillan than your Jamie McCrimmon.
Oh, I like crawling through tight spaces on my hands and knees, Doctor. Oh, we got a trout and arse shot.
Oh! Oh, many families were made from that area.
That machine was gonna shake itself to pieces. There's no
I thought he said shit itself to pieces.
Jamie, you've shot at me many times. I can survive anything.
I want you to go and tell him to make it in bulk. Yes, as much as he can. There's no time to argue now. Hurry.
Come in
See you
bulk.
back at the learning hall.
Jamie, we just reunited with you. Bye!
Oh no.
They're preparing for COVID.
What will it be?
I think we'd better do as they say, Doctor.
Fun.
I love Trouton's whimpering so much. You go in first, Zoe.
Oh, ladies first. I'm glad this is a 4-parter, because if I have spent any more time with these Krotons, I might start to dislike them.
Oh, mad stunts, dude.
Ooh,
Leap through that
Indiana
door.
Jones.
If anyone was to upset the stuff you're drawing from that tank.
Hint, 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 Zoe.
Oh well, you stand there, and I'll stand here. Better still. A much better idea. I'll stand here and you stand here.
They're so tall. Jesus.
How do you wear these things? Give it time. Oh! Aha! Butterfingers.
Doctor, you are.
The dads have had a few too many.
Oh, the Krotons are ejaculating. The plot was resolved by cum. The bottle of cum.
That's quite a satisfying shot.
But it worked, didn't it? Come along, let's get away.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I always love those stories that just end with him pissing off without saying a word. Just like, yes, time to go.
So much work to do with the doctor's pissed off, so he doesn't have to do it.
Just cut to the TARDIS taking off. It's like, not my fucking problem anymore, bitches.
Man, that was fun.
So, that's the Krotons. The story ends on a cummy note.
Ah.
What's your Oh, are we gonna like do a review of the story now? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Well, you were about to ask me what my initial thoughts are, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, like, at its core, you know, it's not like it's not amazing, but it's just fun. It's just a fun story.
Yeah.
And I think it's you know, I don't think it deserves to be considered one of the worst. Like, really, it doesn't. It's not bad in the
Yeah.
slightest. It's a fairly sort of, you know, okay script that's bumped up by some really fun moments. It's, you know,
So it's like, even though I don't like it, it's like the Fear Her of Series 2, if you know what I mean. The Fear Her of the Trouton.
oh, I think the Krotons is a lot more merit than Fear Her.
Oh, yeah,
I would say the Dominators is more like Fear Her, where it's like you can like just tell that it's utter shit, but you still enjoy it.
Okay, so the Krotons is more like, I don't know, Planet of the Dead, maybe.
I
don't know.
don't know if that's comparable. I'd say, I don't know. I don't know if you can compare it really, but I just think it's I think it's just a fun little story. I think it probably gets a bit of probably gets a bit of flack because when you compare it to other Troughton stories, it pales. But it's still...
Yeah, and
You know, it's
I
still
did
good.
see some... Yeah, I've seen some people like express ire that something like Fury from the Deep is missing, but then the Krotons fully exists.
Yeah,
and, you know,
that is
Yeah,
that is-
but like...
that is a bit annoying, I will say. But you know,
But
it's a good story.
yeah.
You know, it's a fun little story.
Do you agree with me when I placed it in the underrated stories thing
Yeah,
we did?
yeah.
When we did that collab.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say it's underrated. It's not one of the most underrated, but it's underrated story. In the grand scheme of
Hell
things, I think though it is one of the weaker Troughton era stories by comparison, but I think that
Yeah,
really says
definitely.
a lot. That really says a lot. Like I would say this one's sort of, it's in that same tier as like Abominable Snowmen and Underwater Menace and Highlanders for me. It's like that tier of Troughton rather than, because it's not as it's better than stuff like, it's better than the Dominators, and it's not as good as stuff like Seeds of Death and Ice Warriors and all the, and like Macroterra and all and Faceless Ones and all those stories, but it's not a bad story. It's a good story still.
Yeah. It probably is my like third or fourth least favorite Troughton, but I still really like it.
Yeah. So I think we should just like jump right into like the characters. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Character, because I don't really remember any of the. All I remember is like Philip Maddock gives a good performance, and like there's that woman. Is it Thalia's the
Thara?
guy.
Thara?
Thara or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that woman who's catatonic for like half the story, and then she's fine later.
Well,
on.
the side characters
Like,
that
I
I have written down are Celeris, Abu, Varna, Thara, Eirich, Axus, and Beta.
Oh yeah, Beta. What a name.
Yeah.
I don't really remember this story for the characters, as far as I'm concerned. It basically
Like
set dresses.
they're like oppressed, they're subservient slavery. There's you know, their laws and rules are determined by the Krotons. They have a rebellion. They have an argument over how to rebel, which I thought was really interesting. There's also they dip into patriotism a bit, and I like I like when there's a rebellion, but there's infighting as to what is going to be the best course of action. I think that's probably
Oh, yeah.
the thing I would praise the most. And obviously Philip Maddock was great as always.
It's pretty standard stuff for like the side characters. It's pretty standard stuff for 60s. Who is like characters are wanting a rebellion, and it's got themes of World War II of like oppression, fight back, no talking.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Action!
There's a lot of like, I would say this is like a in terms of like a lot of the side character stuff. This is sort of like a skeleton of what Robert Holmes would do in a lot of his later stories.
Oh yeah, like I think the original Dalek story has something similar to this. It's like oppressed well, not really oppressed, but you know, sort of second class characters.
But that one's
trying
way
to
more
rebel.
way more developed though. That one's way more.
Yeah, it's
developed.
way more nuanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a bit like haha, but funny to Jamie Cum times.
Well, speaking of the TARDIS team, like this TARDIS team is always great from what I've seen, but like
Hell yeah.
this is definitely Troughton's most like hammy performance, isn't it? Like he's very. There's none of that, because like a lot of the early Troughton, he's sort of like cool as a cucumber, whereas here he's full like he's full gay.
Yeah, you've got season 4 Troughton, which is like quite sinister and mysterious. You've got season 5 Troughton, who is like ramping up. He's more outgoing, but he's still got like a sentimental side. And then you've got like season 6 Troughton, at least up to like the War Games, where he regains like that mystique. But like season 6 Troughton's like, oh!
Yeah, he's very funny in season 6.
Yeah,
I
love him.
And I just love how he's got like he's got like a handbag and he's
an umbrella.
yeah,
And
just all of part 1. He's just so gay. I love that cliffhanger where he's lying down. He goes, oh, oh, and he's covering his face. And like you said, there's he spends most of his time with Zoe in this one. They have a little bit of a cute little rivalry with their intelligence, and it turns out that the Doctor doesn't know as much as you'd think about mathematics.
Zoe's pretty fun. She's pretty Romana-esque in this story. She's like Romana light in a way.
Yeah.
But no, that's not a bad thing. She's still pretty great.
Like daycare Romana.
Yeah. The Doctor, we've already spoken about the Doctor. He's just fucking perfect.
Yeah, he's great.
Jamie, he's sort of on the back burner in this one. But,
Yeah.
like, that's not really a bad thing, because Jamie's usually front and centre in most
I
of
think,
the other Troutons.
I think it's like this is balanced out by the fact that in the Dominators he's the biggest focus and like Zoe's on the back burner.
Yeah, which is really weird, because the Dominators is Zoe's first trip, and yet she's, like, barely a presence. But, you know, that's fine. That's fine. And, you know, he still gets some good stuff. He's still loyal and...
Yeah, true. There's that bit with the crowbar. And there's that bit where he gets pushed against the wall and knocked out. But yeah, I thought they were fun. Like, they were fun, and they just... it's hard to... I think it's just... Again, like, it's not... This isn't a very deep story, but it's just a... It's a fluffy one.
Yeah. I love how... Hughes pointed this out to me recently, how like every other Troughton story seems to open with them going, we're just here on a nice holiday, and oh no, it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
And this is definitely falls in that category.
Yeah, that was the Dominators as well. They actually said they wanted a holiday. But yeah, this is definitely one where he brought his umbrella and they ruined his umbrella.
This time it's personal.
My umbrella.
As for the Krotons themselves...
Yeah, so I think if I had to choose a weakest element of the story, it's probably the Krotons. Like,
they're just fucking loud.
Yeah.
That's the...
Like,
that's the character.
It's not like, because I'm more good with like the design. Like, it's really cheap, but it looks kind of like, you know, it's charming. But it's just... It's just the characterization is so loud and flat. Like the voices are so monotone, and it's like I can't really
move.
There's no like personality.
Direction point.
Yeah, there's no personality. They're all just very.
They're a bit pissy.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. They need some of that like.
You're exhausted.
They need some of like that Nick Briggs sass, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's amusing that in how fucking stupid they.
Yeah. And they just reveal their weakness to Jamie. And he's like, oh, in terms of... and you know, I just found that funny how like I said, oh, they're like the dads, and then the fact that they actually had like a barbecue gas can in their room.
On the list of like stupidest 60s Who villains, they are probably down there with, I mean, the Sensorites aren't villains, but like they're down there with the Sensorites and the Quarks.
Yeah.
Oh, bless them. And like they do have like this oppressed society thing that they don't really delve into a bit, but like it's not really a front and center focus. It's more like you know, it's just more just like cheap and cheerful.
I don't think it would be like... I think people wouldn't be as bothered by it if there wasn't just so many of these stories. Because it's just... You can count... There's so many stories in Doctor Who that are exactly like this, where there's just an oppressed society that has to rebel.
There's some pretty good, like, direction, weird, trippy bits, in all fairness. Like, when they have just that pixel art of the Doctor's face, and they send, like, a cum snake after him. Yeah. And there's that bit where he and Jamie are coming in the chairs with a chain.
Why do I get the feeling that, I get the funny feeling that George Lucas probably watched and liked this story because it has a rebellion against, like, an oppressive society of, like, force, and it also has something coming out of a wall, like in Jabba's palace. that mean does that mean that like that means like C-3PO is the second Doctor because he's like the gay like cheerful man, and that means Zoe is R2 because she's like the mathematical one.
Hell yeah.
The small little droid.
Hell yeah.
And that means Jamie's Chewbacca. He's the big hairy man that's gone to save his boyfriend, who's locked away.
Oh, it's great.
Oh yes.
This fucking...
Yeah, I just because when I saw that I was like, oh, wouldn't it be so much like if we? Because I was just thinking about Return of the Jedi. I was like, what if the Doctor like knocked on the door and he's just like, "There's no one here, Zoe." And it's just like C-3PO.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
that would be great.
It's lower tier for like if I had tiers of Troughton, you have like the top tier of like Power of the Daleks, Enemy of the World, Boba Fett, Tomb of the Cybermen, Mind Robber, Invasion, War Games, flawless shit, absolutely flawless shit. They've got the still pretty damn great ones like I don't know, Abominable Snowmen or Ice Warriors or I don't know, Seeds of Death. And they've got like the weird fucking memey ones like this and
Underwater Menace and the Highlanders. Where he's just like
then the Dominators.
He's just like he's like then I'm wearing a fake moustache. Did you recognize?
Then the Dominators.
Oh yeah.
And then the Space Pirates.
Yeah. Oh, I've still got the Space Pirates. Oh.
Is that the only? Oh wait, you said you're still saving the Wheel in Space.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
the Wheel in Space and the Space Pirates.
Yeah, those two. I'm looking.
You've had another gap in.
I'm looking forward to the Wheel in Space though, because that's the one where the Doctor and Jamie get some alone time.
Oh yeah, so they do. Doctor has a nap for a bit of the story. It's quite relaxing.
Don't they have a nap in the Space Pirates as well?
Oh yeah, so they do. They all have a nap.
Okay. In terms of the plot, like we said, it's very basic, very typical Doctor Who plot with a few interesting moments, and it's mainly held up by the fun elements. I think you can tell when Patrick Troughton reads a script and you can tell it's not like on par with the rest of them. That's when he really plays it up.
Yeah, when he's just like, fuck it, the script isn't working. Maybe I need to just goof out.
Oh, but Doctor, we are on the island. Oh my word!
And the story's got some pretty decent direction. There's POV shots when the Krotons are like walking about. And
well, yeah, I mean, this is obviously like when I look at like the crew, you got like the second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe, which is like one of the best TARDIS teams, and it's like written by Robert Holmes and directed by David Maloney. Like this should be a fucking classic. Like this should be one of the best ever, and it's not. It's just a little fun story.
Yeah, it's a stupid fun meme. It's probably because I probably don't have that much of a disgust for it because I know a lot of Classic Who fandom holds Robert Holmes in such high regard, like he is the best Who writer ever. I don't really. I think he's a bit of an overrated one. He still writes some good stuff, but like
I think you just have beef.
I
think you just have beef with the Deadly Assassin.
Yes, fucking Deadly Assassin. But like. Yeah, like, because I don't hold him to that high art level, I could just go easier on his crappier one. Not the Space Pirates. Space Pirates is abysmal.
Yeah.
But like, I could go easier on his more like brain farty ones, like the Krotons or the Power of Kroll.
Power of Kroll. I wasn't that easy on that. I mean, I gave it a 5, but I was like, oh, that's a bit tedious. This thing's going in circles. Although, to be fair, that's what I thought about the Dominators when I first saw that, and maybe if I rewatch Power of Kroll, that will change. Who knows?
Probably. We'll see.
Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts on the Krotons?
Yeah,
think of any.
I'm still going to go through a few things. So, like, yeah, I'd say this is... In terms of, like, Robert Holmes stuff, I'd say this is, like, on the lower half, but it's not his worst one that I've seen. I'd still say, out of the ones I've seen, probably Power of Kroll's the weakest, but I still haven't seen Space Pirates, so I'll have to wait for that one. I would say, funnily enough, because a lot of people say this is like the Mysterious Planet is ripping off this story. I'd actually say this and the Mysterious Planet for me are like very similar in terms of quality. For different reasons. I think this one is like it's more straightforward and fun. The Mysterious Planet is less fun but more interesting because obviously because like with the Mysterious Planet it's like it's kind of got the bare bones of this story, but because it's to do with the trial, like the Valiard is manipulating the thing, and I like the whole thing of how the Valiard is trying to nitpick every decision the Doctor's doing to try and show him being guilty, even though it's like he's being very pedantic. So I thought that was really interesting, and obviously there's the twist with like the London Underground, but I think although we have had a story in Yoo-Hoo since then called Orphan 55, which does a similar thing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Krotons is more like stupid memery after the grand epic that was the invasion, while the Mysterious Planet is trying to be more like this distant and conspiratorial kickstart to, or the trial of Doctor Who, considering Doctor Who was like publicly on trial at that point.
Yes. So yeah, in terms of like the reception overall from what I've seen over the years, is it's often considered to be one of the weakest Troutons, and the reaction ranges from like bad to mediocre.
Yeah, I'd be easier on it than that.
Yeah.
But because I just love Trouton too.
Yeah, I would say it just scrapes like good for me, like just.
I give it a.
If it was like
my scale.
If it was like if this was a 6-parter and we had like more time with the Krotons, I don't think I'd be as kind to it.
Oh yeah, it'd be a bit crapper though.
Like by the time we got to part 4, I was like, I'm happy this is nearly over because I'm almost about to get a little bit irritated by these damn Krotons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was going to say something I've forgotten. Whatever, doesn't matter.
The music was by Brian Hodgson. I don't remember it too much.
Was there any music?
I think there was, but I don't really remember it, to be honest.
Oh, might it have been the Krotons like humming thing?
Maybe.
Whenever the Krotons were on screen, it might be boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
boop, boop, boop.
Oh, in terms of direction, I think my favourite bit of direction is like the trippy scenes.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
He used like he interchanged the lens and made like Trouton's face look like Quagmire. I also do think that uniquely, I think because we have like we as fans have like a funny perspective on the Second Doctor, I think it just sort of makes it more fun to watch because of how we receive his, personality.
Oh yeah, we're like, oh, he's clearly gay and he's clearly like wanting this fucking Kroton to come and Jamie to come and just come.
I know you tried to compare it to Fear Her, and obviously I said that Dominus is probably more like Fear Her, but actually, thinking about it, because the 10th Doctor in Fear Her is kind of like that, where he's not really that deep, he's just being fun, he's just being silly, a bit like Trouton in this story,
Yeah. And again, I can't be too mad at this story because like the Trouton era already has many classics.
That's true.
Like over half of it is like really intelligently constructed stories that leave you thinking for like hours on end.
Now I'm just thinking.
So I don't mind if.
Now I'm just imagining Trouton and Fear Her, and that like cat comes out the box and he's like, oh, oh.
But yeah, like I don't mind if, considering we already have so many gems in the Trouton era, I don't mind like having this like fun little duff one it's not even that duff, it's just stupid and endearing.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. Should we move on to some trivia?
Okay.
Alright, so a preliminary outline for the story, then entitled The Trap, was submitted for Season 2. So this was meant to be a Hartnell story at first.
I can't imagine that, honestly.
No, I can't either. Because like Hartnell's Doctor would be way more like, this is an outrage! These Krotons are evil, oppressing you! Wait, they must be stopped!
Like, if at all, I could sort of like imagine One and Vicky having like the thing that 2 and Zoe have going on in this story, but it wouldn't be as it would be different. It wouldn't be
Like Stephen Taylor in the place of Jamie.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as competitive. It would be more it would be more like the Romans, basically.
Although I can imagine
or like the funny.
I can imagine the first-person shooter game chasing Barbara.
Yeah, true. Because of that cliffhanger in the Daleks, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, the Daleks, but with the Krotons in it. You will move ahead of us into the Dynatrope.
We need a drug. Man. It was rejected because the robots were deemed too similar to the mechanoids.
Yeah.
But apparently that, like, Robert Holmes was actually meant to write a First Doctor story. That's how long he was trying to get into the show.
And yet he still started with the Krotons.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of crazy to think that if this story was, was going to go in, it would have been in season 2, and it would have been a First Doctor story, and Robert Holmes would have started it all the way back then.
Yeah. Be weird. God, he would have spanned the first 6 Doctors. Wow.
Yeah. Because the space pirates. Holmes resubmitted the outline as the Space Trap to a new, more receptive production team. The script, under the name The Space Trap, without the hyphen as here, was actually commissioned for delivery in '69, probably more for the penultimate story, season 6. However, because Holmes had completed the scripts early, the story went back into production in late '68, when a Dick Sharple story, Prison in Space, fell by the wayside. So that explains why the Space Pirates exist, I suppose.
Yeah.
Episode 1 exists as a 35mm tele-recording negative, while the others exist as a 16mm. Okay, so the episode 1 is in better quality, and it's the gayest one.
Yeah, it explains why. It explains why it looks so good. Like, hot damn.
Yeah.
The war games, like, that's what I really love about the later Troughton episodes. Like, even the surviving episode of the Space Pirates, and like all of the war games episodes, the picture quality is so crisp. Like,
Absolutely. And obviously the Web Affair episode 1. Oof.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Oh.
Oof. It looks like, you could say it's like, oh, this is some like classic 60s Hollywood film, and people would believe it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And like when they recovered like Enemy of the World, and even some scenes in Tomb of the Cybermen, like they just look so cinematic, but on such a small budget.
Yeah, like the bit where they go into the tomb, and then like got the jackets on.
Yeah.
Like everyone's eyes in Tomb of the Cybermen is really sparkly.
It's delicious story. Delicious cinematography throughout the whole era. Delicious era all around, honestly.
This story was repeated on BBC Two in 1981 as part of the Five Faces of Doctor Who, as it was at the time the only complete 4-part Patrick Troughton story available.
And this and Tomb of the Cybermen are the only fully surviving 4-part Troughton stories.
Yeah, because at the time Tomb wasn't found. That was the only option. They only had the Krotons.
So weird to think that like Troughton died before Tomb of the Cybermen was recovered.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's so sad.
Apparently, what was it like? I think one of Troughton's birthdays. He chose to show the Dominators. He's like, oh, this is my favorite story, and it's like, you're full of shit. Probably just did it to troll them.
Probably.
This is the first collaboration between Robert Holmes and Terrance Dicks.
So it is. Was Terrance Dicks scripted?
Yeah, he was.
Or
he was.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because for most of the season it was Derek Sherwin up till the War Games, but this one was Terrance Dicks.
I see. That explains some of the gay, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. David Maloney called the story a disaster and felt it was his fault, whilst Fraser Hines didn't care for either, calling it horrible. Terrance Dicks felt that it worked as a story but not as a monster, feeling that the Krotons themselves were useless and non-threatening. I think that's harsh.
It's a fun meme They shouldn't be so hard on themselves.
I know.
Damn it, David Maloney.
Yeah. Oh, the Krotons were written with the intent of replacing the Daleks. Just like the Quarks.
They were never gonna fucking manage it.
Oh dear. Fraser Hines would have originally departed in this story, or at least the one that was filled in its slot, but been replaced with the male companion named Nick.
Meh. Yeah, glad Jamie stays.
Yeah. Well, there's so many times in this season that Jamie could have left. Like, you've got got this one, then you got Led of McCrimmon, and you've also got the fact that he got chickenpox as well during the mind robber.
Yeah.
And Wendy Padbury's like, oh, well, what if Fraser just never came back? Wouldn't that be nice? And I'm like, whoa, savage.
Oh, damn. I think I would have still had the Lead of McCrimmon, but just have it so Jamie stayed on, honestly. Like, that's how I would have had it. Because, third Yeti story, why not?
Yeah.
It would be tasty.
Yeah, I mean, Travers was meant to be in the invasion, I believe.
Yeah. And then they got Professor Watkins instead.
I like Professor Watkins a lot, but I'm just thinking, like, if Travers was in that story, that'd be a stacked cast. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You got Travers, you got the Brigadier, you got the Cybermen, you got Tobias Vaughn, you got Packer. That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Even Benton's in that one.
Oh yeah, so he is in a James Bond attire, kind of.
Right. So, conclusion and rating out of 10. Well, seeing as I pretty much know what your ratings are going to be, why don't you just do your conclusion and rating out of 10?
Yeah, it's lower tier among the Troughton era, but people are a bit too hard on it. It's fine. It's a fun meme. And it's always just a fun time to just, like, I don't drink, but, like, if I did drink, this would be one of my go-to drinking stories. Like, it's one of those stupid, oh, it's fun, shut up kind of stories. Kind of like the Armageddon Factor, but not as boring.
I haven't seen that one yet. That's on the list.
Ooh, okay. I'd give it like because I give most of the Troughtons either a 10 or a 9, and then like this is like a 7.
Oh, how disappointing. Yeah, so I thought this was a fun story that flew by. I was never bored by it, so it was fun. The plot's fairly basic. It has a few lapses into interesting territory, and there's a few, really interesting things that he does with the Doctor and Zoe, and there's some good direction. And yeah, I just found it really an enjoyable little tale, and not as bad as people say it is. I don't think it tops the list of what we watched so far. I think I prefer Colony in Space and Creature from the Pit over this, but I'd still say it's one of the better ones. So I'll give it, like you, a 7 out of 10.
Ooh, we agree. What's on your like 1 to 10? When's the point where stories start becoming good? Like, what's the good?
Well,
because 7 is mine.
Oh right. Okay, let me put it this way. Like, 5 is mediocre, 6 is average but enjoyable, and then 7 is like good.
Ah, okay, same for me.
Yeah, so like,
if
I wanted to like give an example, like 5 would be like, I don't know, like Cold War, and then like 6 would be like 6 would be like Nightmare of Eden, and then this is like 7.
I'd put Power of Kroll at 6, honestly. Like, it's the most 6 out of 10 story ever.
After rewatching The Dominators, I think I'll put that at 6 now. It used to be a 3.
Same, actually.
It used to be a 3, but now it's a 6. It's doubled.
Hell yeah.
What's that thing? What's that thing with the Grinch? It's like his heart grew twice the size of 3 times. I can't remember.
You grew to love the Dominators. Well, like it, tolerate it at least. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. So that means we only have one thing left to do in this video, and that was we have to defend a story against Hellbent.
Of course.
Now, this one was a bit of a tough one because you don't hate Hellbent as much as me and Adam, so I had to try and find a story.
No.
I had to try and find a disliked story that you actually liked more than Hellbent.
Yeah, because I don't like Hellbent at all, but I don't think it's like I used to vehemently despise it, but nowadays I've softened on it. Like I've just come to be. There are still things that I really don't fucking like about it, but I've just come to be like, it's just not my thing. It never will be. But I'd still give it like it's like a 4. Not a fan. Maybe lower, 3. Don't know.
That's generous. But yeah, so we have chosen one that unfortunately doesn't have a paragraph because no one put one in. But we'll do it anyway. This is a story that on the 2014 DWM poll was in, I believe, the bottom 10. So it, at the time, at least of when it came out, is a very disliked story. These days, I think I see a bit more people like putting up their hands saying, I like it. But at the time, and certainly...
Including me.
And at the time, certainly some people now definitely hated this story. And it is The Rings of Akaten.
Yes. I think...
So I'll just before we get into it, I'll probably just go over some reasons why I think people don't like it, just so I can give some devil's advocate. So basically, the reason why people don't like The Rings of Akaten is because it's really like it falls into that Moffat trope of being really sentimental and mawkish. It has like child actors and they sing songs, and it has really shoddy green screen, and it has a story about a leaf that blew onto the face of one of Clara's parents. That's how they got together. And the very end has the Doctor do this speech about his life, and then that's not enough for the son to, feed because it's not infinite. But then Clara brings out a leaf and says, this is infinite because this is, infinite possibilities, infinite potential.
Yeah.
And whilst I think that ending's a bit bollocks, I don't actually mind it myself.
Me neither. I don't think it deserves the scorn it gets. I think, for one thing, the setting is much better in The Rings of Akaten than it is in Hellbent, because they actually pay attention to the setting in The Rings of Akaten. They actually try fleshing it out. Whereas
The setting
in Hellbent,
is actually
they just bring back Gallifrey.
The setting's actually important in Rings of Akaten.
Yeah, whereas in Hellbent, they're like, hey, let's bring back Gallifrey. Oh, it's a backdrop.
Yeah, and also one big difference, because like Hellbent is like the worst Clara like episode, whereas Rings of Akaten is probably the best.
It's one of the best, yeah.
Yeah.
Like she actually seems awestruck and is curious about the universe and exploring it instead of just being like, bend over so I can peg you, Doctor, you clever boy.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, the episode does have its flaws. It is very sentimental, but honestly, I think Hellbent is even...
I will say, The Rings of Akaten has a lot of Sonic Screwdriver in it.
Oh yeah, God. But like, I dare say Hellbent is even more sentimental. Like, annoyingly so.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, I have a duty of care. Why do you do that to yourself? 4.5 billion years.
Yeah. Ugh.
I think it's less irritating in Akaten, if you ask me.
Well, I think Hellbent tries way too hard to be like this fucking modern art, And Rings of Akaten is more just like, it's a fun little adventure that ends on an emotional note. I think the parts of it that I do agree with that aren't good are the parts with Clara's parents. I hate those scenes so much. Like, they really rankle me.
Yeah, those are really wooden and garbage.
They're like cliche, like Hollywood, sprinkle some sugar on the script sort of thing. Where it's just like, you should know, Clara, that Mummy and Daddy love you. Like, it's that sort of thing. So I can't stand that. But in terms of just the main plot itself, like just, the Doctor being, finding some weird aliens and being silly with them and exploring, and there's there's just some strange cultures going on that's really interesting, and you got like this big sort of, is it a sun with rings on it? Or something like that. It's got like a big face on it.
Yeah, it's a sun or a planet. Yeah.
And I just I really like the whole setting. It's quite abstract, like it's different.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't really vibe with like the singing, but I honestly think like the long song is actually a great piece of music that Murray Gold thought of. Like it's actually really cool.
Also, I like that Rings of Akaten is also like kind of a deviation from the status quo in a way, because like it just lets itself bask in its own setting, and the plot doesn't really kick in until like pretty late into the story. And it's like it's one instance where like I know people don't like the leaf defeating the sun kind of thing, but I do like that the Doctor doing a massive epic speech isn't the defeating climax of the story in a way. I mean, it's still like I get the complaints about Clara's leaf winning, but that's cool. While Hellbent just kind of delves back into the status quo of being like, see, like you thought it was going to go in one direction, oh wait, suddenly it's another timey-wimey thing where this character's brought back to life and the rug was pulled out from under you, kind of story.
Yeah.
And that's just irritating. It's not refreshing in the slightest.
Yeah. And like they are very difficult episodes to compare because the tone is completely opposite. But it's just, I just think Rings doesn't deserve the hate it gets because there are redeemable factors. Like there's a good story in there that's a little bit ruined, whereas Hellbent is just, well, I mean, I've gone into it many times, but it's just so like. It's so like it's so sinister to its audience, at least the people that don't like it.
Like I'm not going to use the word objectively, but like I don't think it's objectively one of the worst stories ever written kind of thing, but it is one of the most unappealing episodes for me because I just do not care. I don't care about the Dr. Clara thing. I just want, because like my thing with the 12th Doctor and Clara relationship is that some people find their toxic relationship, will they, won't they, dynamic, like investing, like engaging character growth. But for me, because there's so little levity, so little sense that they actually like each other, it just feels like a straight up abusive relationship, and I just want them to.
I think there's that one bit in The Girl Who Died where they like dance.
Yeah, that's it. It's like occasional bits of levity, but the fact that it keeps resorting to infighting to that level.
Yeah, and the thing is, like some people will be like, "Oh, but Series 7 is the levity." I'm like, "No, it isn't. No."
No.
No.
And I know some people, to other people say, "Oh, I hope those crazy kids work it out." To me, it's like I want them to get the fuck away from each other because they're clearly not compatible. And the fact that we spend 2 whole series like trying to watch them figure it out, and it doesn't work, but it does work, but it doesn't work, but it does work, but it doesn't work, and I'm just like, can we just fucking stop and get back to the space adventures, please?
In regards to Clara, like it's comparing the two stories. Rings of Akaten pushes her a little bit in the right direction, whereas Hellbent does the opposite. It ruins what could have been a great end to her character, in my opinion.
Rings of Akaten is actually a fun, like, time and space story, which I actually come to Doctor Who for. I mean, again, there is a bit of the 11th Doctor being a creepy nonce, but, like, it's not as overbearing as, There is a story there. Hellbent, meanwhile, is just, like, everything relates back to the Doctor and Clara.
The 11th Doctor in Rings is a bit questionable, whereas, but for the most part, he's pretty, sound, I'd say. Although maybe a bit silly, but the 12th Doctor in Hellbent is, in my opinion, like actually out of character. Like, oh, he's murdering people in cold blood because he loves Clara. It's like,
episodes like that, and Last Christmas, and like Darkwater, Death in Heaven, and like The Magician's Apprentice, they are some of the least appealing Doctor Who episodes to me because they just keep like brutally trying to like force the 12th Doctor and Clara. Like people would call the Jodie era blatant, like Chibnall's era, like really blatant, shoving it down your throat, and you know that's a topic for another discussion. But I feel like the Capaldi era is like very guilty of that because it so desperately wants you to care about the 12th Doctor and Clara relationship that every element of the plot will somehow connect back to it, and it will somehow be like the defining emotional climax of the story. And if you are not invested in Clara, if you don't like her, or even if you're so much as indifferent to her, tough luck. The story wants you to care, but it doesn't feel organic. It's just like you should care about her because the timey-wimey, see, look, she saved Gallifrey, she was there from his childhood.
She accidentally travelled to Gallifrey and caused him to become the man he is.
And chose his TARDIS and Impossible Girl, all that bullshit. And
yeah, it's very forced.
Yeah. Well, Rings of Akaten is one of the few instances where I can actually tolerate Clara as a person and as a character, so, you know.
Yeah, although there is a weird disconnect with Jenna Coleman, I think, in Series 7, where it's almost like she doesn't really get the show. If you get what I'm saying, like she's very unfamiliar. She's very unfamiliar with Doctor Who in Series 7.
She's definitely a much, much better actress in Series 8.
That's true.
So I will give Hellbent that props.
Oh yeah, she plays much better off Capaldi, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he has so much gravitas that he really brings out her more dramatic side much better. Whereas Series 7, she still feels a bit like, oh, this is that actress that was on Emmerdale. You know?
Yeah. I think that's all I have to say about that, really.
Yeah.
Like, I think Rings of Akaten appeals more to me personally.
Overall, I think the sins that Akaten commits are not as harsh, and there's more to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
True.
Well then.
So yeah, that was the Krotons, and that was why the Rings of Akaten is better than Hellbent.
Yes, it is. So that means the next time on this series, I will be. I'm going to be doing the Space Pirates with Antonio.
With Antonio, the funky memer.
Yeah. I, in my heart of hearts, hope and wish it's as fun as this one, but
it's not.
I somehow feel like it won't be.
Like, trust me, I am the biggest Troughton connoisseur in the world, citation needed, but like, even I cannot stand that fucking story. It's one of the elite few Doctor Who stories that I have never paid full attention to all the way to the end. I've never managed it on the 4 occasions I've watched it.
Oof, you watched it 4 times.
Yep, over the last 5 years I've tried watching it 4 times.
Oh dear.
And I've always zoned out. It's always been so torturous.
Well,
but I know Antonio thinks differently, apparently. So.
Well, I don't actually know if I believe if Antonio's actually watched it. I think he might just be pulling our legs.
Yeah, he might be memeing.
But I know that when we do watch it, he's going to have to actually watch it, then we'll actually find out what he thinks of it. For real.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone that can make it a fun viewing, it's him, probably.
All I'll say is Milo Clancy is the most annoying fucking character in the world. Like, he rivals River Song in how fucking annoying he is.
Isn't there... is Milo Clancy the one that looks like David Tennant, or is that another one?
Oh, that's like one of the security fucking people. Milo Clancy is like this weird fucking...
He's either got the mustache.
Oklahoma... Yeah, he has a mustache. He has this weird Oklahoma accent that's been dead for years, and he's just so fucking annoying.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But you'll find out.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And the worst part is this is the first one we've done in this marathon that's going to have a reconstruction. Ugh.
Oh boy!
Oh. Reactions to a reconstruction. Oh no.
On the plus side, you're probably less likely to get copyright boned for that.
I'll still apply the same rules just in case. Yeah, but anyway,
true.
We've got that to look forward to. So we'll see you next time on Space Pirates.
Bye.